Andy. Hello, Andy.
Hello. Sorry, apologies for lateness.
Just join in. Tell us where you're
Thank
from.
you.
Where are you from, Andy?
I'm from Weymouth in Dorset.
Right. Okay. And we are doing some recording. The small groups won't be recorded unless you want to be in one that is. Let us know.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine.
Okay, great. So thank you all for coming on this very cold night. This is about how to talk to people even more skillfully about the climate and ecological emergency. So we're sure you're all skillful already, but we can always improve. Yes, Flora. You probably are, or you wouldn't even be here. Okay, so we're quite tight on time because we are trying to make this an hour and a quarter. We've already had to talk about recording, so that's lost us a little bit, hasn't it? Okay. So nobody can interrupt except me. Which will be about keeping you on track and keeping contributions short. This is my sign for short. How about I just show a picture of myself? Keep it short. So we're going to start by imagining you're in the street. Okay? You're in the street. You've organized something. You've organized, let's say, a die-in. Yeah? There's 10 people in your XR group. And you've organized this die-in, and Jeannie's talking to you about it, or you're talking to Jeannie about it, and you say to Jeannie, look, we've got 10 people, eight of them are going to die on payment with appropriate signs, blah, blah, and 2 of them, one each side, are going to give out leaflets. What do you think I said about that proportion? Yes, go on, go for it, Dermot. Do you want to be unmuted unless you've got a screaming?
Right. Okay. I think that's good. I certainly wouldn't want less than 2 out of 10.
Okay. Okay. Any other offers? Let's keep it really short. Any other offers? And you can unmute unless you've got a lot of background noise. Pitch in, Michael. You're muted. It wastes us a bit of time if you're muted, so it's all right to be unmuted.
Sorry. Yeah, sorry about that. I think 2 is a little small in number. If
what do you propose, Michael?
6 and 4.
6 and 4. Which way round?
6 dying and 4.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what I proposed. I proposed 8 giving out leaflets, doing outreach, and 2 dying. Because let's imagine, here is the people who are dying where my face is, right? And the public are passing by. This is the public, right? Da 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 da, rushing around, doing their Christmas shopping or whatever it is they're doing. And because you want to be in a place where there's a lot of footfall anyway, don't you? So, and first of all, this pink one is the XR person. First of all, yeah, the member of the public sees an XR person, they speak to them, they ignore them, they think they're mad or they're busy, they don't even hear. Then they speak to a second person, and maybe they think, oh, what's going on here? Maybe they get a leaflet off the third person. Probably by the time they get to the fourth person, asking them something or giving out a leaflet, they've twigged that something is actually happening, and they're going to look at the die-in, which is where my glasses are. Yeah. And of course, people are coming from both sides, aren't they? Do, 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 do. There they are, jumping them out both sides. So if we don't get people's attention, we've wasted our effort, really. So it's really important to be highly visible. Okay. And whatever you put on has got to be immediately recognizable. Immediately. I'm not talking about street theatre much here, but if you're doing a street theatre, we might do a street theatre workshop, actually. Everything's got to be immediately recognisable. So let's think about 4 on each side, 2 people dying in the middle. The dying people are going to be very visible once people's attention is directed to them, because they're lying under white sheets or whatever they're doing with signs. Okay, I went to this event when the pink bus came. It was great. It was on a field, recreation field, and they had tables, and they had flags, and they had tea, and they had cake, and it was marvelous. And my friend and I walked across the field, and there wasn't anybody there apart from the organisers, hardly. And my friend said, it looks like it's a stop for runners doing a run where they stop and get drinks. And that's their little enclosure where the flags are. And do you know why? There wasn't a sign. Now, I know it might seem completely obvious, but to have a big sign, I mean a really big sign, I mean a 6-foot sign, because you know those 8 people that do an outreach, 2 of them are going to hold signs anyway, aren't they? So that leaves you only with 3 each side. So the big sign, okay, let's think about the sign. It's got to be simple, large, immediately communicate. So come on, chuck something out, turn off your mute. What words? If you had 2 words to put on a sign, what would you say? Go for it, somebody who hasn't said anything yet. Francine, go.
Fossil fuels kill.
Yeah, fossil fuels kill. That could be one. Yeah, any more? Any other suggestions? Keywords? This is incredibly obvious. Keyword, go on, Dermot.
Yeah, just climate crisis, exclamation
Climate.
mark.
Wait, it's got to have the word climate in it. I know we say climate and nature or climate and ecological emergency. It's too long for a banner. It's got to be like, 4-foot letters. Climate emergency is great. Or crisis. Crisis is better, you know why? Smaller, less letters. Yeah, you can make a banner dead easy. Don't worry about paint and making it beautiful. Get some duct tape, which is rip-uppable, and make your letters nice and square. Pencil them on, stick the duct tape on. And you know what? When you finish, if you want a different slogan, you can take the duct tape off, use it all over again. I've made a lot of banners. Okay, so there you are. You've got 2 people holding a big banner. You've got 2 people lying on the floor dying. You've got 3 people each side, and they're approaching people. And they have a leaflet. Of course, they have a leaflet. You've got to have a leaflet. Here's a leaflet. I think this is back to front, isn't it? But I can't do much about it. Nice pink leaflet. I don't like this leaflet. It says, will you help make history? Do you know why? Does it immediately communicate what it's about?
No.
That's my view. It's got to be something immediate. That's quite nice. It's got a QR code on. Join us, blah blah. Gives us things to do. So here you are, the XR person, and here is the member of the public. Da 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 da. How long have they got, the XR person, to meet this member of the public and communicate something to them that will want them to engage in a conversation?
2 seconds.
Go on, they've got 2 seconds. Pia, what was yours?
Less than a minute.
Less than a minute. Well, a minute is 60 seconds.
Well,
You've
I'd say
got
20 seconds.
20 seconds, 2 seconds. Any other offers?
I'd say 1 to 2 seconds.
Yeah, 1 or 2 seconds, perhaps 1. I'm going to say a second now. 1 Mississippi. That's a second. 1 Mississippi. Okay, you can see why you need 3 interactions before that person might actually take notice that something's happened, because they're not thinking about you. They're in their head or their phone. Probably don't bother if they're on their phone, or when they're shopping or whatever. Okay, let's try again. Here's the person walking down the street, and the XR person is walking alongside them. Hello. How much longer have they got? Can you see? It's really simple, isn't it?
5 seconds.
You might have, yeah. So you could massively increase your opportunity. Okay, the other thing is, people who are stationary are much more likely to engage because they're not walking off, are they? Where would we find stationary people? Just give us some ideas.
Bus
You can
stops.
shout out. Yeah, bus stops. Andy and Corinne and Catherine, you're welcome to shout out. Bus stops, yeah, Pia.
Park benches.
Park benches, yeah. Any other offers?
Feeding
Shout it.
pigeons.
Feeding the pigeon, yeah. That's a good one.
Window shopping.
Window shopping, yeah. Cash points, especially Barclays. If you ever do Barclays, it's great. Cafes outdoor. They're sitting in the cafe, and you come up and you say, oh, something happening here today, or you point to the banner or whatever you say.
So where's the smokers outside cafes?
There might be smokers, yeah, outside any shop, but it's cafes with outside tables, not minus a 10, I don't think. Anyway, so when you're talking to those people at the cafe table, a lot of other people will also be listening at the adjoining tables. So actually, you're talking to quite a lot of people at once. And that's happened to me a lot of times. Even if the person on the table are not interested, someone on an adjoining table often says, oh, can I have a leaflet? Bus queues, bus stops, pedestrian crossings, look out for where people are stationary. Okay.
Can I ask you something then, Jeannie? I'm never comfortable about going up to a couple of blokes at a cafe table. I just think, no, I'm not even going to waste my time.
Don't do it. Don't do it then. Don't do things you're not comfortable with. Let somebody else do that, or, you know, shadow them. Because the next thing is, do we want to talk to everyone?
Yes.
No.
Yes, we've got no. Think about it. Do we want to talk to everybody? We've got limited time. No.
You
No,
got to
not
kiss a
talk-
lot of
yeah.
frogs, though.
Yeah.
What proportion of the population are we trying to attract? 3.5. Yes.
Mm.
So actually, on this street, we only want to talk to 3.5. We want to know, are they in the 3.5 potentially? Are they interested? So if you make an initial approach, and we're going to talk about opening questions in a moment, if you make an initial approach and they're not interested, or they're a climate denier, or they haven't got time, or they don't know anything about it, forget it. Thank you, smile. Because we are trying to attract towards us those people who are already as nearest to us. Yeah. So if you're not comfortable with talking to anybody, don't do it. However, I am always surprised at who is interested and who isn't. It brings up my judgment every time. Even though I've been doing it 50 years in different campaigns, you can never tell who is interested. So we ask them a question which helps us to identify, are they in 3.5? So we're going to talk about opening questions. And you're going to have a practice, and we're going to give you some examples, Michael. Can you hang on for an example, or is that what you wanted? Yeah. We're going to spoon feed you. Don't worry. Okay. So let's just think about an overall view. Okay. We know that people do not change or get into action because of facts and figures. Everybody who knows the facts and figures isn't active, are they? In fact, most people who know that it's a big problem are not active, are they? But what makes people active is motivation from the heart. From the heart. So we're going to encourage you and introduce ways of connecting with people from the heart. So most of us have been taught that facts and figures and all this brain stuff are important, and they are, but that doesn't necessarily motivate people. So let's imagine, and I'm just going to say this, you're the person in the street. Here is the member of the public. You're going to ask them a great opening question. And that opening question is the A for ask of the system we're going to show you, which is called ALLESHA. Not Alexa that talks to you, but ALLESHA, and it goes like this, and it'll all be in the chat and in the Zoom. And Ned's just put it in the chat. It says, A, ask a great opening question. L, listen. 2 ears, keep on listening twice as long as you normally would. People, when you listen to them, make a heart connection. E, you empathize with their feelings. They're going to go through all this. Empathize. How are they feeling? Not thinking, not facts. How are they feeling? What's happening in here? S, share something personal of your own heart. Why you're here. And H, say something that's hopeful, because you know most people know there's a problem. We know that from the polls, but they don't have any hope. And if you don't have any hope, you're not going to do anything, are you? You're going to tune out, disappear, go into despair, apathy, ignoring it, computer games, Love Island, whatever your thing is, okay? So, and the last thing after hope is ask them to do something, action. So that's the system. We're going to start with the A. Ask a great opening question. So here's 1 and 2. See what you think. And then you're going to go into pairs and give them a go. How worried are you about climate emergency? Great. Same thing that's on the banner. You can point to it if you like. How worried? How is a great question opener, because it's an open question. How worried? Or how much do you trust the government? That's a good one at the moment, isn't it? Yeah. If you get someone that trusts the government, I think you're probably not in the 3.5. Yeah. How concerned are you about your electric bill, your gas bill? So link it to a current issue. Current issues at the moment are obviously gas and electric bills and the government. The nurses are on strike tomorrow. How much are you glad that the nurses and other people are standing up to the government? It's an interesting question, isn't it? So we're asking a question as far as possible that's linking to a current issue. Let's look at the one on how much do you trust the government? And then you can go, well, yeah, how much do you trust them when they reply to deal with the climate emergency? If it's one about the cost of living, you can go, well, you know, the same people that are profiting from billions from our energy bills, you know, like Shell and BP, and I mention those names on purpose because they're household names. You know, it's the same people, Shell and BP, that are profiting from our energy bills, making billions. It's the same lot that are wrecking the climate by extracting more oil and now coal. So it's a very easy link. So we're going to put you in twos and you're going to have a go. And you don't have to answer. Just ask the question. Take it in turns. Ask the question. Don't talk about asking the question. Ask the question. Like if you want to run, don't talk about running. Get out there and get your legs going. So this is doing it. Okay, and you've only got a few minutes, haven't they, Ned? Ned's our wonderful timekeeper. Perhaps we can just have 4 minutes instead of 5 because we had to do a bit of stuff at the beginning, didn't we? Okay, go for it. And you'll be asked to, everyone's been in breakout rooms before, haven't they?
No.
Who said no? Okay, Pia, assign, oh, Ned, do you want to say something?
Yeah, so I'm going to open the rooms, and what will happen is you'll be moved automatically into a room with another person, and then use your 2 minutes to ask your opening question, and then swap over and 2 minutes to the other person, and then the breakout room will close and you'll come back into the main room.
So you don't have to do anything. You don't have to do anything.
So,
on your screen. You don't have to press any buttons or anything, Pia. But don't worry, it will be here too if there is a mishap. Okay, enjoy. Ask a great opening question. See you in a minute.
Denise, I've made you a co-host so you can stay here and practice with Jeannie. Is that okay?
Okay.
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 Denise, ask me a great opening question. You can have a look at your notes. It's not a memory test. It's
No, I was moving the breakout. Actually, I can switch that off.
have a look
Excuse
at
me.
the suggestions. Yeah.
Well, I was just going to say, excuse me, madam, how worried are you about the climate crisis?
Good. Very straightforward.
Yeah, but you know what? I think I'm going to switch from that because that's normally my opening one. But I think I'm going to go for the how much do you trust this government? Because I think there's going to be more commitment from people on that one than the climate crisis. I think it probably depends on the location. So I did an outreach in a really poor city in Newport the other week. And I'd say probably 9 out of 10 were like, not bothered, walked on by. You know, I mean, it was great because I managed to filter the 3.5%, if you like. But yeah, and I got called a loony and all the rest of it. But
if you'd asked a question about the government, you might have got the other way around, mightn't you? 9 people might have, 10 might have gone, yeah, I don't trust this effing, etc.
yeah. So I think I am going to try that one.
So do you want to do the follow-up question then? So you ask me that question and I'll reply.
So madam, how do you feel about the government at the moment?
Government? Well, just look what they're doing. It's a complete mess, isn't it? They don't seem to be short of money. They're not bothered about us trying to meet our energy bills.
You haven't got a lot of faith in them then.
That's right.
So what do you think about what they're doing about the climate and nature?
I don't know about that. Make the connection for me. Yeah. Try something like, it's the same people that are profiteering, the same lot, Shell and PP, that are wrecking the climate or something like. Make that connection because they probably won't make it themselves.
Okay, so if I say something like, yeah, does it trouble you that they're in the pocket of the likes of Shell and BP and the big campaigners who are paying money to the polluters? And
good approach, but it's a little complicated. Could you try? It's the same people, it's the same firms. It's Shell and BP are profiteering.
But if I'm asking about the government, I've got to make that connection to.
You can say, well, and the government is backing them.
Yeah,
refuse to tax them. They refuse to tax those profits.
Yeah,
the same people profiteering. Sorry, the government is backing the big businesses like Shell and PP who are making profits and wrecking the climate.
And at our expense as well, because we're paying the bills. Yeah. Okay.
You want to jot something down, Denise? Because it's
that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, you've got that. Yeah. How many minutes have we got? Because obviously you've got all of them. Oh, right.
Oh, there we go.
Right. Well done, Denise. I'd like to talk to you about being on the street in where you were.
Yeah, I've been in a few locations, but that one was tough.
Yes. Okay, great. Jot anything down you want. Welcome back. So we've got the A. Ask a great opening question. How do you feel? How much you trust the government? How worried are you? What do you think about the energy crisis? Blah, blah, blah. Not the energy crisis, your bills going up. Let's put it in everyday language, And then we're going to do L for listening twice as long as you normally would. And then that's ALLESHA. Then we're going to empathise. Empathise means, can we reflect back to them like a mirror? Can we say what they're feeling? Okay, so let's suppose somebody says to you, oh, this government's useless, but what can we do? How are they feeling?
Frustrated.
Frustrated, great. Any other words?
Despairing.
Despair.
Powerless.
Powerless, great. Any other words?
Angry.
Hopeless.
Sorry, Francine.
Angry.
Angry, yes.
Anxious.
Anxious, yeah. Hopeless. They're all good feeling words. Fantastic. You're the best group that's done this so far. You are really. Okay, so we empathise. What are they feeling, Ned?
Dermot's on mute but talking.
Oh, sorry, thank you. Couldn't
Coming
see
on.
him.
I was going to say, but perhaps they are empathizing with our cause.
Well, they might be, but they're sharing a feeling, aren't they, without having
Yeah.
to name it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think our cause, I guess that's the hope bit. Our cause isn't necessarily hopeless. I don't feel hopeless and powerless, yeah, but they might. Okay,
Yeah, I would put them into a 50% category of with us rather than 5 or 10%.
Yeah, let's wait and see,
Okay.
because we haven't
Fine.
quite got to the end yet, have we?
Fine. Okay.
Okay, so let's have another one. You're in the street and you say to them, how frightened are you about the future for your children? Maybe they've got kids with them, or our children, or nieces and nephews. How frightened are you? What do you? And they say, well, I don't know what to think really, but it's not very good, is it? What might you say? So you're feeling, that's a nice little phrase. So you're feeling, what are they feeling? You're feeling, they say, I don't know what to think really, but it's not very good, is it? Doesn't.
So you're feeling concerned?
Concerned, great.
Worried.
Anxious.
Somebody said something then I didn't.
Worried.
Worried, yeah. Worried, anxious.
Unsure.
Uncertain.
Stressed.
Stressed. All fabulous feeling words. To be honest, there's only half a dozen words really people are going to come up with, aren't they? So you only need to know that. You don't need a vocabulary of 3,000 feeling words, even if there were such a long list. Okay. All right, so we're going to empathise with them, and you're going to practice that in a minute. We're going to move on to the next bit, which is the S. A, ask a great opening question. L, listen. Keep on listening twice as long as you would normally. E, empathise. S, share. Share something personal. Why are you involved? What brings you to be standing on the street or knocking on their door? And sometimes, often, if you share something personal, it invites them to share something personal. So sometimes I say, especially to the young ones, look, I'm old enough to be your grandma, because I am old enough to be their grandma. And I say, I'm concerned about your future. I've got a granddaughter the same age as you. Or it doesn't matter how old they are, I might just say, my granddaughter is 21, she's studying to be a nurse. I am worried what her future will be like. And whether there'll be enough good, clean water and healthy food, and whether the climate will be so extreme, life will be very difficult. So I'm sharing something personal. So we want you to think about what you could share that's personal, that would feel comfortable enough on the street. And everyone's going to be different on this one, aren't they? but we know that sharing something personal reaches the heart. Yeah. So we're going to ask you to go into a book group in a minute, but not yet, because the other thing we're going to do is the H. H. Ask a great opening question. How worried are you? Blah, blah. Listen twice as long as you usually would. E. Empathise. So you're worried, so you're frightened, so you're concerned, so you're unsure, so you feel powerless, so you feel helpless, so you feel whatever. That's it. That's the E. S. Share something personal. And H. Give them some hope. We're going to talk about hope. Okay. Most people don't act because they lack hope. You may completely agree with it. So when they go, yeah, but what can we do? I don't know what you can do. What can we do with this government? It's hopeless. I'm only, you know, I do my recycling, blah, blah, which is great, but it's not going to stop Shell and BP, is it? So hope is about referring to history when there are big examples of what has changed. In my lifetime, I'm probably the oldest person here, loads of things have changed because people got on the streets and campaigned. So if we go back as far as the trade unions, we'd be all down the mines dragging trucks on our hands and knees, or the modern day equivalent, if there hadn't been trade unionists who got together and fought for that. Decent wages, decent conditions, the right to bargain collectively with the employers. Many people were imprisoned, hung, sent over to Australia for doing that from this country. I'm talking from my own cultural heritage, which is definitely the white English. Suffragettes. Most people know about the suffragettes. It's old enough. Yeah, we wouldn't have the vote. Women here. Men here. You wouldn't have the vote either without, that was fought for as well. So let's come up with some examples in the 20th century, or even later if you can, of change. And let's just throw them out. You don't need to discuss them. Just chuck them out. Dermot, give us one.
Apartheid.
Yes. I remember when, and I can say this because I'm older, when black and white people were not allowed in South Africa to live in the same place, to marry, to share the same bars, restaurants, etc., etc. Go for one, Denise.
Poll tax.
Yes, tell us about that.
There were riots on the streets when the government tried to impose a tax on each and every person in a household, and bigger families were going to suffer more in terms of poverty.
And it had to be withdrawn because of public campaigning and outrage on the streets. I remember it. Come on, we're the oldest. We have an advantage at the moment in this kind of conversation. Give us something else. Go on. Josie, you look like you're about to say something.
I was going to say the whole LGBT thing.
Absolutely.
You know, the £50 note has Alan Turing, who committed suicide because he was homosexual.
Yeah, because I remember when you could be imprisoned if you were actively sexually gay in a public place or even in a private place.
Yeah.
And now we have civil marriage for everybody, whatever their orientation. And that's not very long, actually.
No.
Great, let's have some more. Thank you very much. People might not know who Alan Turing is or the £50 note, but you can refer to the issue. Great, fantastic. Let's have some more.
Legalized abortion.
Yes, fantastic. When was the Abortion Act? 68? Can't remember now.
Yeah, it was in the 60s, wasn't it?
Yeah, legalizing abortion in this country. Any more?
The American civil rights movement.
Yeah, who was that? It's just the Black Civil Rights Movement, was it? Somebody said
The American Civil Rights Movement.
American
yeah.
Civil Rights Movement. Yeah, I remember when black people could not vote in their own country. They could go and fight and die in Vietnam, but they couldn't vote. Yeah, when they weren't allowed to use the same parts of the bus, bars, restaurants. Most people will know about Martin Luther King. Yeah, because it's taught in schools. That's a great example.
Smoking.
Okay, any more? Just give another one or two, because
Smoking in public places.
yes, that's true. But we might get up the nose or of some smokers there, mightn't we?
Housing discrimination.
Pardon?
No housing discrimination. No Irish, no blacks, no dogs.
Yeah, it was legal to have a sign. No blacks, no Irish or dogs could apply for jobs or houses. And they, when people used to queue up at the docks, looking for, day labor. Yeah, it was legal in this country. So there's loads of examples. Disability rights. People wheelchair users couldn't get on the buses, so they chained themselves to the bus platforms. Now you can get on the bus in a wheelchair. The trams are accessible, etc. So we're going to put you in pairs in a moment. You've got a lovely job to do. One of you is going to share the shame from the heart. I'm here today because my granddaughter, my kids, my worries, my whatever it is. I'm a gardener. I really worry about the future, whatever it is. So one of you is going to do the share and the other is going to do the hope. Just so you both get a chance. There won't be time both to do both, unfortunately. So we're going to put you in twos again. Are you okay, Ned? Enjoy it. Have a go. Write a little message to yourself and enjoy. I think we've got 5 minutes for this, haven't we? 6 minutes.
We've got 4.
4. Go for it.
2 per person.
Yeah, one share, one hope. Doesn't matter who it is. Denise, it's me and you again. Hello.
Hiya.
You get to do both then, don't you?
I do. All right. So my share is I get really upset sometimes in the spring times when I can't hear the birds as much as I used to. And I noticed this year just how quiet it was with insects. There was hardly any butterflies. And
yeah. And can you say what your worry is about the insects and birds?
Yeah, my worry is that, where the insects are concerned, they're the food for the birds. It's part of the food chain. And if there's no insects pollinating plants, then what happens to our food? Because we rely on them for pollinating fruit trees, vegetables.
Are you a gardener, Denise?
Yeah,
I know. I don't mean in the XR sense, but
no, I love gardening. It's my peaceful place.
Talk about gardening then. I love gardening. That's very much a share from the heart, isn't it? I love gardening. Do you like gardening? Maybe you'll be talking to a gardener. I love gardening. I love nature, and Oh, my battery's running. No, do carry on. Would you like to do your share? Oh, sorry, that was yours. So would you like to do your hope? Just while I plug my machine.
Yeah, I think what gives me hope is seeing, or I've now discovered some people who are committed to trying to make change for the better, and that really gives me hope.
Right.
Because we're doing stuff together, and I can see that people are talking about what we do, and that can make a difference.
So you're giving a current example of Extinction Rebellion, I guess. Can you be more specific? You can do a historical example, like we talked about, a recent one. So can you be more specific about what XR's achieved then?
So, for instance, like when they did a big demonstration 2018, I think it was, and shortly after that the government announced a climate emergency, And
Yeah.
now the Welsh Assembly's taken that up. And the Welsh Assembly is now actually starting, because I'm in Wales.
Yeah.
And now the Welsh Assembly is really pushing the environmental and climate agenda. I'm seeing it start to happen. And
Fantastic.
so I can see there's been an impact.
Great. Just a little point there. It's a great example, but we must be accurate because it wasn't the government, it was Parliament. So it was a free vote without it just being the party in government.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, but it's a great example. And other examples might be they have run a citizens' assembly, not as democratic or as, and certainly not binding, but they're certainly getting the idea.
Yeah.
A huge amount of people now put climate emergency as their prime or second concern.
Yes, in the top four.
That's right, which has been completely turned around from 3 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's more and more acquittals of people sitting doing climate action, but you could do a nice mixture of historical and current. Yeah, great, well done. We've got to go, I think. So you did. Oh, the hope. Quick.
Oh, the hope is in other people.
That was a hope. That was a hope in other people. The hope
to work with other people to change things
because it's happened before.
Yeah.
Again, give your example.
Yeah.
And if they're a woman, you can say, look, you know, you wouldn't be able to do this if you didn't have people on whose shoulders we stand.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I'm keeping an eye on the time. Okay. So we all back, I think so. So we've done. You know this off by heart now, don't you? A, ask a great opening question. L, listen. Keep on listening twice as much as you usually do. E, empathize. So you're feeling this. So you're feeling so powerless, worried, helpless, concerned, angry, frustrated. Might even be feeling hopeful. I don't know. That's the E of ALLESHA. S, share something personal, and that will encourage them to make a heart connection. H, give them some hope. And the last one is A, which is for action. Ask them to do something. Minimum. Would you like to be on our mailing list? We've got a section here for your phone number, actually. If you haven't got a sign-up sheet with a phone number bit on it, get one, because there's nothing better than ringing people up. It's much better than the QR code, which is very nice, but people don't always use the QR code.
We ran out of sign-up forms through activities this week, but I always keep a little pad of sticky notes in my pocket. So that's what I used at the market at the weekend.
Fantastic. So there you are. You've got your sign-up sheet. Don't look at it. Don't wave it in their face at the beginning. I think you're doing some survey and they just want to sell you something. You might have a table at the side. Would you like a leaflet? Would you like to come over to the table and talk a bit more? We've got more leaflets. We've got a meeting next week. Would you like to come? And if they say, oh, I'm not sure about signing up, say, well, look on our website. Here it is on the leaflet. How to get in touch with us. It says here, we've got a cafe. Every Tuesday afternoon, we're in a local cafe. People can drop in. We have eat and meet. Come along and eat at this cafe one night every 3 weeks, and then we have a chat afterwards. Yeah, tell them what's on. Get them to look at the website. Okay, so that's the action. So that whole system, which Ned is going to put in the chat, you are going to go and practice, and you're going to be in threes. Will that work out, Ned?
If it's okay with you, Francine, would you be able to stay in the main room? So there's a 3 in here, and then I can do 3s in the breakout rooms. Thank you.
Okay, so the 3. One of you is going to be the XR person. The second is going to be the member of the public. Do not be the member of the public from hell. Be in the 3.5 so that your XR person can have a conversation with you. Okay. And the third person is going to be the coach. Now, coaches, just listen up a minute. Coach, you've got the system in front of you. A, L, another L, E for empathise, S for share, H for hope, A for action, sign up. Help them keep to the system just for the purposes of this training practice. Yeah. You can say, oh, that was great. That would have, let's just go back to that. Can you empathise with them? Oh, that was great. Oh, but you missed out the share bit. Would you like to share? That was great. That was a really good hope thing. So you have a really important role, coach, in encouraging them, and you can kind of gently stop them and direct them to keep the system. You're not doing it from memory. It's not memory test, is it? You can have the system in front of you. ALLESHA. Okay, so off you go into your threes, and we'll see you in 15 minutes, not long. We've only got, so you've got 2 minutes at the end then, just to say goodbye. Enjoy. Have a nice time. Denise and Francine, hello. And Ned. Hello. So we're going to do this. Francine and Denise, who wants to go first? You'll both get a go.
I'll go XR or coach, either way.
Well, let me do the coach first.
Okay.
Because I don't need to practice, but you do.
I do.
Who do you want to be first, Denise?
I'll be XR. I'll be XR.
Okay, you both get a chance. And because we've got a bit longer, because I can do the coach bit, you've got a bit longer, which is great. So take a moment. So Denise, have you got the system in front of you? Great, fantastic. It's okay to pause, it's okay to stop, it's okay to go back. It's okay if it's not quite in the same order, though the opening bit is probably best. The ALLE, ALLESHA. So, and Francine, just be yourself, but not the person from hell. Okay, don't be quite too easy either. Okay, go.
Excuse me, do you mind me asking you how you feel about the government at the moment?
Not feeling too pleased about the government right now. They seem to be starting to run roughshod over people.
You don't trust them then?
Nice empathy, nice bit of empathy, good.
Yeah, no, I don't. They seem to be sticking up for the rich people and not worrying about the rest of us at all.
Yes, yeah, that's true. I tend to think they're in the pockets of those people who are actually doing the worst for us, whether it's like energy bills or what they're doing to the environment. What do you think about what they're doing on climate?
I'm really worried. They're not doing anything. They seem to be rolling back things on climate.
Right. Okay. She's in 3.5, isn't she? She's definitely got an idea of what we're talking about. Go for it.
So sorry, Francine, you said they're rolling back their interventions. Yes. And oh gosh, I'm stuck here. So
well, you could, if you're stuck, you can always ask a question like, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I was just thinking that I was wondering if that might take me off on a tangent, but yeah. So what do you think about the fact that they seem to be not taking responsibility?
I really worry about it because from what I've read, we don't seem to have much time to try to fix this climate emergency.
Yeah, well, and I'm a gardener. I'm seeing that happen, talking about time just even in the last few years.
Be really personal now. Tell her about your garden or your nature. Go for it. The share. This is the share bit, isn't it?
Yeah, as a gardener in the last few years, you know, I'm noticing the drop off in bird song. And this year I've really noticed how quiet it is, you know, with the insects, and that's a worry because there are pollinators. But
and that's why I'm here today on the street doing this.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm glad really that I've found a group of people who are trying to turn things around. So I'm here today to talk to the public and people like yourself who are concerned. And
how do you suggest we turn it around? How do you suggest we turn it around?
Well, I've seen some turnarounds in the short time I've been involved with XR. So for instance, back in 2018, when there was a huge demo down in London, not long after that, Parliament came together to announce a climate emergency. So, you know, I think that was a real breakthrough moment. I don't know whether you know also, there was a climate assembly, which was commissioned by some departments of the government. Have you heard about that?
No, I haven't heard anything about that.
Yeah, so like 100 people were brought together to talk about how to get to net zero by 2050. If you look on, got iPlayer? Do you use iPlayer on your phone or anything?
No.
Okay, it's a documentary on BBC, but yeah, so they did that, but unfortunately it didn't have any legal standing. So that's kind of another reason we're here today, because we want to bring about a change in terms of getting people more involved and giving the power back to them, and taking some of that power out of those people who are in the pockets of the likes of the big energy companies. And does that sound like something that could be of interest to you?
Yes, I'd be pretty interested in knowing how to sort of slow the big energy companies down, like Shell and Imperial Oil and Suncor and so on.
Yeah, great stuff. Great. So are you from this city where we are at the moment?
No, not at all, not even from your continent, but I'm glad to see that there's lots going on here.
Okay, rats. I need a prompt from the coach, because this very thing happened at the weekend. I got a guy from California and I took his email because I was like, great. I knew Ned might be able to find my way.
Yeah, you can take their emails anywhere in the world. Great. So yeah, yes. Do you want to say who you're from? Look, here today, you know, we're doing this public outreach, or we've got this diet, and we're from Extinction Rebellion. This might be a word you want to use at this point.
Yeah. So
don't forget the A for action, because we're coming to the end of your time.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll tell you what, if you're happy to share your email, I'll take your email so that you're got onto a mailing list.
For who?
For Extinction Rebellion. Sorry, yes, that's the group that I'm from, and who's doing the action today.
Oh, I think there might be a group in our city that is starting up, the Extinction Rebellion Ottawa.
Okay. In which case, if I take your email, I can
pass. And I'm going to stop you there, Denise. You're doing great. You're doing fantastic. Because we've got to swap round. So, Francine, do you want to have a go?
Sure.
Okay, off you go.
Hi, how are you doing this morning? Are you worried about the climate emergency that we're experiencing today?
Yeah, honestly, I think about it every day. It's something I try not to think about because I find it really upsetting. It's just really distressing, actually.
Yes, so you're feeling very distressed about it. I know how you feel. I'm a grandmother with 7 grandkids, and you know, I worry every day about their future. Do you have any grandkids yourself?
No, I don't have kids. I do have a little brother and sister though, like 21 years my junior. And you know, I'm kind of thinking when I'm 80 is when the chaos is really going to be kicking in, and they're going to be in their 60s. And what kind of a life
Yeah.
are they going to have as older people
Yeah.
being vulnerable amongst that all that mayhem?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Great question. Great. I would just avoid saying, do you have any children? Because that can be a bit of a sore point for some people.
Yes.
So it might be better to say, maybe you've got nephews or nieces or children,
Yes.
you know, kind of make it a bit more general. But yeah,
Sure.
great, fantastic. No, don't bother, you did great.
Okay.
So we've done the A for ask and the L for listening. You did a nice empathy about being worried. You're doing the share. Do you want to do some hope?
Hope, yes. Well, I think I'm here today from Extinction Rebellion, and we're here because we think we need to take action now, just like when the suffragettes got together and made sure that the women got the vote in earlier in the 1900s. You know, if enough of us get out and get the attention of the government and the people, then together we can do something to change how our government is behaving.
Do you think it's possible? Do you think it's possible to make that change?
Absolutely. A government has to listen to the people. You know.
Wait, give her another example. Encourage her a bit more.
Well, you know, just like with for gay and lesbian rights, and you know, we've also gotten changes so that to permit marriage.
Yeah, it's true.
With same-sex couples, and that was something that we couldn't even imagine.
Yeah, we never thought that was going to happen, did we?
No, exactly, and it's
yeah.
Or even the you know, the Jesus.
No, you're doing great. Try the kind of Black civil rights thing, because most people know about that, even if they're
Yes,
young.
you know, the Black civil rights movement in the US, that got certainly a better status for Blacks in America.
Yeah.
You know, when enough people get out and get involved and act, we can do wonderful things.
What are you doing locally then?
Oh, great.
Well, here, if you'd like to sign up on our sign-up sheet, you can find out, or go directly to our website to find out about the direct actions that we're planning over the next 3 weeks. I'll give you a leaflet.
Oh, yeah.
And that will have the address that you can check things out on. And
okay.
And I'd really love to see you at our next.
If you're doing things that soon, I know like things can slip and whatever. I'm going to give you my telephone number. Give me a ring.
Thank you. Thank you. That would be so great. We can give you a ring and then let you know when, you know, the next cafe meeting is coming up. It'll probably be in a week or so.
Okay, so great stuff.
So have a phone number section on your sign-up sheet. Not everyone will put their phone number, but some will. And I often say, look, you don't have to sit down in the street and be arrested. There's plenty of other things to do.
Yes.
People who do that want to do that. But you could join the samba band, or you could give out a leaflet, or you could make a leaflet, or you can lie down, you know, pretending to be dead, or you can be behind the scenes doing media and messaging, do it on Twitter, you know, give them some options, because it's really important to say, for every, we know there's 10 people in Extinction Rebellion, only one is arrestable sitting in the street, and there's all these other jobs to do. Fantastic. Yes. Fantastic, well done. Hey, because you got extra time. Yeah, any comment?
Okay, that's great. Thank you, because I've never done any outreach. I just joined up with XR Ottawa lately.
What did you like? What was helpful to you about this little system?
Just the stepwise procedures, quite frankly, because you know, when I do a lot of research into what the climate problems are, but I'm terrible about speaking out about it. So that you've given me just short, quick, easy ways to you know, to draw someone out and to explain to them what things there are that we can hope for. Now, mind you, I
And
don't know.
actually, I think you're a lot better than you think you are, because you were really good at it. Both of
Yeah.
you. Denise, anything you would say that was helpful to you about this little system?
For me, I think, you know, it's definitely practice.
Yes.
Yeah, because like, you know, I think I know it all.
You do. We all do it.
But yeah, but like even like the other day when I was door knocking, and I got this lady who was like a Wiccan, and she was like, you know, she was totally aware of all the environmental issues, but she was like, but I don't like the word rebellion, and I think you're going about it the wrong way, and all that stuff about like people who've been rebellious before. It just went. And I walked away from the door and I was like, why didn't I say that stuff, you know?
Yeah. Well, you know, on your sign-up sheet, you can just have this little, you can have a little note to yourself with these headings. You just say ALLESHA system, so you can prompt yourself. And
Well,
the other
yeah.
thing about that Wiccan lady, you could, yeah, you've got it there. You could empathise with
that
her.
fits in my phone case.
Yeah.
And I've got my phone case in my pocket at all times, so I've got it there.
And that Wiccan woman was talking about the sitting in the street stuff, but there's loads of other stuff, isn't there? Maybe she wants to send energy, if that's her thing. Maybe she wants to do prayer or ceremony, whatever her thing is, you know. So we welcome everybody. Do you remember that's one of our principles, and every part of everybody. So well done. I think we're going to have to go in 20 seconds. Okay. I'm going to ask you to share one thing that was helpful to you when we get to the big.
Okay. Before we go, or when we get out there?
Yeah, here we all are. Okay. Right, everybody, well done. 2 things. Okay. Are we all here? So I just want to give you an overview. Here's the XR person. Here's the person from member of the public. We imagine that there's a bridge. We are on this side of the bridge, the right side, the correct side, the hopeful, active side. We don't know where they are. We don't know whether they're close to us, a long way away, the other side, walking in the opposite direction. So we are finding out where they are. And we are moving towards them using this system so we can make a heart connection. So they will be willing to walk across the bridge with us together. And so I like that metaphor. It helps me understand what we're doing. As regards the action, I often say to people, you don't have to sit in the street and get arrested. For every 10 people, we know this, only 1 decides to be arrested. There's all the other things you can do. Samba ban, messaging, making leaflets, giving out leaflets, making tea, making costumes, whatever your thing is. So remember, we welcome everybody and every part of everybody. But it's a good thing to say, because people won't focus just on that aspect. And finally, there's one thing you have to do. Practice. Practice on your friends. Doesn't have to be about the climate. You can use this system for anything. And we know that the sooner you practice, the more this will be embedded. Practice in the next 24 hours and it'll get embedded. So have lots of fun. But we're going to ask you to say one thing before you go. And that is one thing that you're taking away that you think is going to be helpful. What was most helpful to you? And it's okay if it's the same as somebody else's. One thing from this training that's helpful. And I'm going to cue you, so makes it quicker. Dermot, I'm just doing you the order of the screen. One thing, and if you're on mute, that
okay. I could help train others.
Fantastic. We'll get in touch. Pia, you're muted.
I like the sharing, the personal aspect of it.
Great. Flora.
Thanks to everyone for sharing your ideas with me. I haven't done outreach before. I'm quite new to XR, so Thank you very much.
Welcome, Josie.
I think listen is a good it's just, you know, listen to them. I think people like to be listened to.
Yeah, great. Michael.
Ask, listen, action, if I was to summarize my takeaway.
Yeah, good. Even shorter. Tom.
I found the H step very helpful in terms of that's something that I've struggled with when I've talked to people before. I think a lot of people, the people who are receptive are normally not active because they, as you say, they feel hopeless about the situation. So I found that useful.
Good. Thank you, Andy.
Really useful, thank you. And I think my takeaway is just to practice, yes, to build confidence. We've got a program of local stalls, and so plenty of opportunity for that.
Fantastic. Corinne.
Brilliant.
I like the ALLESHA acronym. I think I'm going to find that really useful to make sure I don't miss out a step, because sometimes I miss out the hope bit sometimes. I think.
Yeah. Catherine.
I think just the advice that you don't need to spend a lot of time talking to people that really don't want to know. That's really, really helpful advice.
Good.
Like focus on the ones that want to know.
Denise.
Practice.
Francine.
Certainly I like the sharing hope, but I'd also like to be able to teach this here in Canada.
Great, we'll get in touch with you. So that's it, because we want to finish. And thank you, everybody, and thank you especially to Ned. We'll step on just for a few minutes, and if Dermot and Francine, you want us, they could stop on her for a moment, do you think? What do you think, Ned? I don't know what your commitment is. Okay, and everybody else, go and practice.
Yes.
And this is going on again on Friday night, isn't it? Look out for it. Share
Thanks
it with
very
your
much.
friends.
Thank you
very much.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Ned, do you want to talk to Francine and Dermot?
And me.
And you. I've just got to nip downstairs. But you talk to them about the technicalities of training.
I'm just going to stop recording.